seconds from now at the top of the hour.
Chicago Now, 10 o'clock on the nose. It's Thursday. It's almost the...
This week went by quickly for me.
Did it?
Probably because, you know why? I was off Monday, that's why.
Oh, that's
so
right.
it feels like a shortened week for me. Is it
Okay.
feeling long for you? Because you know how sometimes weeks fly and all of a sudden, wow, it's Thursday already. Friday Eve, as Anita Blanton likes to say. And then other weeks just crawl.
Mine was kind of normal.
Normal speed?
I would say not too fast, not too slow. It was normal. But we're all anticipating this brutally cold weather that's coming tonight into tomorrow.
We had signed Theo up for a ski lesson. It was like
Where?
supposed to having 3 consecutive Saturdays. He has never skied
In
before.
Wisconsin?
Up in Wisconsin. And we decided to cancel, and the folks up there where he was going to take the lesson were so gracious, because I was like, it's supposed to be like, I mean, what is the like negative numbers or single
tomorrow
digit?
our
Saturday
high could
morning,
be around 1 degree below zero.
1 degree below zero, and then Saturday morning it's still going to be
Back to
frigid.
like 10 to 20 below zero for the wind chill.
So, if you're trying to learn a new skill,
No way. No
I'm like,
way.
maybe if he was an established skier, he could work up, you know, a sweat or something.
He
But
would be miserable. It would ruin his skiing career.
exactly. So I mean, if we want him to actually have a future, you know, not in the sport, but just like being able to go out and ski, I don't think that's the right formula. So they were very gracious,
Good.
and we're gonna postpone that lesson. So
Good
kind of
for
dodged the
you.
bullet on that. But yeah, it's gonna be frigid.
Yes.
This is warm right now compared to what we're getting.
It is. By the way, do we have those photos that I took, you guys? Could we cue those babies up in a few moments?
My car.
Okay, so I got in the garage this morning, and I was
Yes.
like, Anthony's going to have a tough time. His little car is on the right there. That little baby was squeezed into that parking spot. My question to you is, did you park there before or after the truck was there? Before. Okay,
And
so
isn't it a good thing I'm skinny? I mean, literally, like
I don't know how you're going to get that door open after work.
Is that today?
That's right now.
That's today. Oh, because yesterday the same thing happened to me.
Same truck?
No.
Oh.
But that is too okay. I thought this was from yesterday, Caitlin, where someone really like encroached.
Antho, this is right now. You're gonna.
But you know what? If you're looking at this, you're gonna accuse me of being in the wrong.
You were
because
straight,
look at. I'm straight, but look at how close my tires are to the line. This is the corner spot.
Yeah,
right,
it's
Caitlin?
a
the
tight
corner
one.
spot where a curb blocks out half of the. So I'm not at fault. Like from this angle, it looks like I'm at fault. Like get away from that yellow line. But I'm telling you, in that particular spot, there's no room to go further to the right.
No,
so
he's correct.
I might have to go in through the trunk.
Or the passenger side.
I also want, can I pontificate just a little bit on my 2001 Impreza?
Please.
So this car, I got it for $5,100.
Gold.
And it only had 31,000 miles on it at the time. This is like in 2018.
Yeah.
I went to the Subaru dealer. We're like Subaru people, as you could probably expect. We're like Subaru.
Yeah.
We got a Forester. Our other one is kind of a nicer, newer Forester, but this one.
They're like hippie.
Cool. A little bit.
Yeah.
Cool, no.
Got it.
Hippie, a little bit. A little crunchy.
Sure.
So I go to the Subaru dealership just to see what they have. I was going to see like if there was a used car or any kind of, they put a lease on a new one. I couldn't afford a big car payment. And the guy, the sales guy up there in the Evanston, his name was Herbie.
Oh,
Never remember, his name was Herbie.
I love that name.
And he goes, let me show you something interesting out on the lot. So we go out on the lot and there's this, I don't know if we could flash it again, a 2001 When we bought it, it smelled of smoke.
Oh,
She was a smoker, and there was some like stains, you know, nicotine on the. So I spent weeks kind of sanitizing it and leaving the windows open, and you know what I mean. But now it is just, I have grown to love that car.
Well, you can't beat $5,000.
I know.
I mean, that's
no
a
car
steal.
payment. I mean,
That's
obviously the
amazing.
insurance, but I have grown to love that car, and you would be shocked at how many offers I've gotten on it over the years. I'm not even kidding.
Are they discontinued?
Yeah, they're definitely discontinued. I mean, you can find them used, but not in that good a shape.
Oh.
By the way, say hi, honk, if you ever see me out there.
But
I've gotten offers.
Cameras.
I've gotten like notes on the car in the lot downstairs. A note on the windshield saying, "Would you take my Volkswagen Jetta for your Subi?" There's like a cult following for this car. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. It's happened. Like, I've had the car since 2018. I've probably gotten like 5 or 6 little offers from people at a gas station. Hey, what model is that? I think people want it to then soup it up. That's my theory.
Make it like a race car.
Exactly. Like put rims on it, and
I could see that. She's cute, Anthony.
Yeah, thank you.
But she doesn't have, as mentioned,
no,
cameras.
I don't know. Okay, I will keep you posted to let you know if I had to resort to going in through the trunk today. But
I saw it. I just felt so bad for you this morning. I was like, I gotta take.
Oh, that was a pleasant surprise. All right, let's see. Is it Michael Babcock time, everybody? Almost Michael Babcock. We got some juicy stuff. This was last year when the scandal first broke, the whole Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni. I don't go down these, like, I'm really not like a TMZ kind of junkie where I know all the Hollywood gossip, but this one intrigued me because we saw It Ends With Us, the movie. Did you see that movie?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so you saw it. So I was really curious. I thought it was a great movie that really did a good job of exploring the ambiguity of domestic violence, where it's like, it's not like this character of his was this archetypal, stereotypical caricature of an abusive spouse. He was smart, handsome, sensitive, great family, and then there was one scene. Sorry, this is a mild spoiler, but like where he just crossed the line in the movie. Do you remember the scene? It was like some kind of shove or it was a reaction where he kind of swatted. It was in the heat of the moment, but it was, it was enough to tear apart their relationship. But I really thought it was so well done, and so I think that's what initially sent me down this wormhole. Really liked the movie, and then all this stuff came out about her allegations of how she was treated on sets, and then there was this whole back and forth of whether it constituted sexual harassment on sets. There was his version, her version, one lawsuit, a counter lawsuit, and the whole thing just blew up in everyone's face. I remember Jake, our own Jake Hamilton, one of his interviews is what really, I think it went viral for some of her responses. A lot of people didn't like her demeanor in her interview with our own Jake Hamilton. So for a long time, I remember she was like the bad guy, then he was the bad guy, and so now there's another twist in the plot. And we are checking in now with Michael Babcock. I hope that was a good kind of summation.
Anthony, no, that was. You could have fooled me that you don't follow it. That was spot on.
Thank you.
I'm very impressed.
So the saga continues. We have another chapter.
Yeah.
Michael, get us updated on these recent developments here.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people, or I think at least a lot of people have been kind of tired of hearing this story and like, oh, you've got these two famous actors who are fighting each other, and I'm sort of sick of this. Now Taylor Swift is involved in a big way. We had always known that she was involved kind of on the periphery, that Blake Lively and Taylor Swift were friends, and that Justin Baldoni essentially said, and look, let me go back a sec. So the bottom line, the whole argument, the reason that these two don't like each other is really creative differences on It Ends With Us. That this was a Justin Baldoni's movie, and he was the director, and he had a vision for it, whereas Blake Lively had a different vision, wanted sort of maybe less of like a raw kind of look at the domestic violence and more sort of, romantic and whimsical, and they saw the film differently. So they are having this power struggle, and Justin Baldoni says that Blake Lively used her friendship with Taylor Swift to sort of exert influence on him, that she is powerful and that she gets her way. And because of that friendship, then again, that Blake was basically using Taylor to change his movie. Taylor basically said, hey, look, I don't know what's going on here. I'm not involved. I wasn't in this movie. Sure, one of my songs was used on the film, but that's it. Well, in this lawsuit, as part of the lawsuit and part of documents that have since come out, we have gotten a look at, because it's evidence, these Taylor Swift and Justin Baldoni Taylor Swift and Blake Lively text messages. They have literally been submitted to the court, and that's not the picture that is painted. The picture that is painted when you read these messages is that Taylor Swift was very much involved with what was going on, that she was talking badly about Justin Baldoni. I mean, calling him words I won't repeat here on TV, but talking badly about him. And again, just bottom line, very involved in trying to help Blake Lively make these changes to the film. So, you know, I suppose it's one of the more juicy, for lack of a better terms, details that have come out about this story, which is, again, otherwise just been two actors who have clearly hate each other and have accused each other of doing bad things on set.
Oh, okay. So I'm wondering if it's one of those situations where Blake was just texting Taylor because they're friends. Like, can you believe this?
Right.
Or this was how my day went.
And
so
you just go along.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm reading here that she tried to make up with Taylor Swift.
Yeah. So it's interesting because in June of 2024, some of the messages are Blake basically messaging Taylor and saying, hey, I feel like I've been a bad friend lately. I feel like I've been so consumed by what is going on with Justin and at work that I've been so selfish and only talking about myself. And so she really went on this whole, this whole, long, apology that she gave to Taylor Swift and asked Taylor Swift for forgiveness. And Taylor said, Blake said, I feel like I've been a bad friend. And Taylor literally responded. It was a longer message, but part of the response was that, you have been a bad friend. So Taylor just acknowledged it and said, though, look, I understand you're going through a lot right now. You don't have anything to apologize for. But, yeah, just know you haven't been the greatest friend. You haven't really been there for me. So, it's clear they had a close relationship. They don't anymore. I think the friendship is over. Now, what is the exact reason for that happening? I think that's still an unanswered question, but I think bottom line is here with the whole Justin Baldoni Blake Lively drama that Taylor Swift was far more involved than anybody might have thought originally.
Is that whole Khaleesi Dragons thing, like I'm Khaleesi and Taylor Swift is my drag, is that still accurate, or was that was that refuted?
Well,
and maybe
I think it's more accurate now.
Okay, more accurate now.
So. I think, Anthony, the best way to put it would be at the time when we heard, and this is something that Blake Lively had said about Taylor Swift, at the time, the thought was that Taylor Swift didn't know that Blake was saying those things about her. Like, basically, Taylor's, none the wiser to the fact that her friend is using all of her power and influence to get things that she wants. Now, having read all of these messages, I think she was her dragon because and Taylor knew it, and it's seemingly was happy to be
a little bit
Taylor.
Before we move on to before we move on to this drama with the Queer Eye cast, baseline, what's the latest with the case itself? I know Baldoni's case was dismissed, so where do things stand legally right now? Yeah,
so Blake, that's exactly right. And Blake's lawsuit, though, that still exists and is scheduled for trial in May. So could something happen before? Could they settle? Yeah, I suppose. Although I think their reputations have both taken such a hit at this point, I imagine that Blake is going to see this through. And you could potentially then actually see Taylor Swift on the witness stand as a witness in this trial. So that would be
The saga continues. Very juicy.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so Queer Eyes, hot mic, trash talk. What happened?
Yeah, so Caramo Brown, who was on the show for a really long time, he has opened up about an incident that at least he claims happened last year when they were filming in D.C. for season 10 of the show. So it all comes to a head this week because you've got some of the other cast members who go on a morning show. And as they're on the morning show, Caramo's not there. And I think a lot of people said, okay, he was supposed to be here. Why is he not here? Well, all of a sudden, then the morning show says, we've got a statement from him. And he says, in order to protect my peace, I have decided not to be there this morning. We have since learned that, as again, they're filming last year in D.C., he brought his mother onto the set one day. But, want to bring mom to work so she can see what happens as they're filming the show. There was a moment where he apparently walks away. Mom is now sort of behind the scenes, and she has headset on, and everybody is mic'd up. The cast is mic'd up. Well, Caramo walks away, And what happens, they start talking about him and some of his life choices, is the way the story has been told to us. And his mother heard all of it, and obviously his mother is then going to relay that to her son. And at that point, I sort of wiped his hands clean of these people that he thought were his friends, but I think probably found that in that moment. Maybe they weren't as good of friends as he thought they were.
Yikes, yikes, yikes. All right, we know you have to go, Michael, but what's the fallout of this? Does this mean the cast is like, you know, just fractured permanently?
Yeah, it is. So you know, three of them are done. They're not friends with him anymore. Jonathan, they've still maintained a relationship. So Cromwell and Jonathan are still friends. But yeah, the other three, it doesn't look like there's any coming back from it. He wants nothing to do with them.
All right.
Always good to see you, Michael. Keeping us updated on all the
guys. See you soon.
All right, we'll see you soon, Michael. Thanks so much. Yeah, we will continue to follow that. I latch on to a couple stories. I'm not like a huge gossip guy, but like
every detail.
I knew this is the one where there's something about the whole dynamic that fascinated me.
Yeah, I didn't know this, how Michael just mentioned that the issue was creative differences in making this movie.
Yeah.
And how Blake wanted it to be more romantic. I didn't know that part of it. So I understand
and Justin
that it was
wanted
a
to
power
make it
fight.
more about the issue of domestic violence.
Yeah.
Yes. And I know that the author of the book that it was based on has been in like Team Blake on this one. So I don't know if that has to do with tone or anything, but like early on, maybe I don't have it right because it changes every week, but early on she was like Team Blake.
Anthony was there during the making of this movie. So.
Evidently. Well, you know what? I watched the raw video. Remember somebody, I think it was the Bell. Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember not thinking anything. You know what I mean? You look at the raw video, and my recollection of the raw video is that these are two really good performers delivering a really good performance. And I didn't see any evidence of like
him crossing a line.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that. But then there was, you know, allegations of things that he had allegedly said on the set and behind the scenes and all that. So I guess we're going to learn more as this thing goes to trial. I am shocked, actually, that these two did not settle behind the scenes.
Well, the problem is too, but do you remember he blasted her on social media?
Right.
Wasn't there a whole thing where he was paying people?
That's the whole thing, to sabotage her. Yeah, like a whole PR. People will. That's right. This whole angle where people in different PR firms like lost their jobs, called out their bosses, formed a new PR firm as a result of this, and like.
And
all those
I think that's probably
emails,
why
yes,
it could
the
not
sabotage
stay
campaign
behind the doors, because then Blake was obviously just getting ripped apart on social media by everybody. And so then she probably had to speak up. It was something with her and her husband too, right? They both were like, this is what's going on.
Right.
It's
Ryan
just
Reynolds.
messy. Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds. Maybe that's why I was so intrigued, because the cast of characters. The cast of characters. It's another thing. I mean, I like Ryan Reynolds.
Lively, Ryan Reynolds.
He's
I mean,
the cast of characters.
Untouchable kind of celebrities. A-listers, if you will.
These are A+ listers.
I remember Blake Lively back in the day when she was on The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I read that whole series when I was a kid.
Yeah. Oh.
Loved that movie. She was darling. She was like this athletic soccer player with this long, gorgeous hair, and she was so cool on that movie. Maybe it's fine. I don't know.
And then she was in Pretty Little Liars, right?
No.
No, that's not it. Well, Gossip Girl. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Thank
Agent
goodness.
Adeline. She was in that one too. So good. I mean, just countless movies that she is phenomenal in. Hopefully we can look past it. Maybe once this is all done, everyone will be friends again.
Wow. Okay.
Including Taylor Swift and Blake Lively.
We're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
We're going to nerd out over architecture when we come back. I know you love when this happens.
I do like architecture.
Frank Lloyd Wright fans.
Yes.
I covered this really cool story. This is similar to what we're going to be talking about after this. This is a fake Zillow listing.
Yeah. So it's
Frank
not
Lloyd
just
Wright
talking about Frank Lloyd Wright.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a juicy twist.
Juicy real estate.
Situation that happened.
Local, too. There are a lot of kind of gems, like not hidden, but like Frank Lloyd Wright homes around the area. A lot of them are clustered in Oak Park, but the Austin neighborhood where this fake listing mentions is right by Oak Park, where Frank Lloyd Wright had his studio. And I remember covering this house that was on sale. It was this gorgeous old house, amazing bones, for like 600 grand, and no one was buying it.
Oh.
And there was a fight for the preservationists to get their hands on it so they could restore it, because
Sure.
you know how much more expensive it is to restore a home as opposed to gutting it or tearing it down. And there's all these rules about what you can do when it comes to historic landmark properties. And seeing some of his early work, I'm actually curious to see the listing here, because this is for $350,000, which you think, oh my gosh, Frank Lloyd Wright house, only $350,000. But a lot of these houses are in disrepair. They can't find them. There's actual people living in it, and they can't find buyers that are willing to steward the house. So they wind up sitting. And so we're going to explore, right after this break, a fake Zillow listing for a Frank Lloyd Wright home, and how some preservationists, oh my gosh, they flipped out, they caught on, and then they are now trying to come to the rescue. And we're going to get everybody updated. Juicy real estate story when we come back after this.
The Menards bag sale is here. Get
Welcome back, 10:22. So let's dig into this. As you heard before we went to commercial break, we're talking about a Frank Lloyd Wright home in Austin that had a fake Zillow listing. So I'm reading some of these details here, which is interesting. So this home was listed for $350,000, but the listing was illegitimate because preservation groups say that the house is not actually for sale. So the house was appraised at about $65,000, and it would require an estimated $2 million to rehab this home.
Yikes.
So I think it had the red flag because it was listed for so much money. The roof is collapsing, interior, which you can see in these photos, badly damaged. The exterior materials are deteriorating. But to give you a little history about this house, it was built in 1903. It was the Walzer House, designated Chicago landmark. That's why you got to do the rehab properly. But it is one of only 7 Prairie period Wright homes still standing in Chicago. The home has suffered from decades of deferred maintenance. The former owners, they were named Anne and Hurley Teague. They restored the home after buying it in 1969, but then it fell into decline, and a reverse mortgage led to foreclosure after Anne Teague's death in 2019. So it has prairie-style features. But the interesting part about it is how it had that fake Zillow listing. So joining us this morning is Barbara Gordon. She's the executive director of Frank Lloyd Wright Building Conservancy. So good morning to you, Barbara. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, so what stuck out to you? Was it that it was so expensive on the listing when only appraised for $65,000?
Yeah, so I think, going back a little bit in the story, we've been working on this building since December 2023, and we've had the relationship with the family, and it really wasn't until she had passed away at the end of 2019, and, COVID, everyone kind of loses touch, and so when we found out she had passed away, that's really when the decline had really happened. The house actually had been going through a foreclosure process, and it wasn't until December when there was a judicial sale, and nobody had bid for that judicial sale. They started out at $240,000. We had been working with the estate attorneys, got an independent appraisal, which appraised it really at $65,000. And when the seller had opened it up to $240,000, no one stepped up to bid on it. So that's when the process went to have it go back to the lender. And then in about 2 weeks ago in court, it officially transferred to Fannie Mae. So when this went on the market last week on that Zillow listing, it was a really quick turnaround. And then once, we always like to call the agent whenever there's a listing, and it wasn't a real professional response that you got on the other end of the phone. We didn't get a hold of anybody, and just very strange things were happening. If you looked at the listing, it was definitely something that just came probably from AI or something like that. A lot of details about the house that really probably came from our website, saveright.org, and it just wasn't a very professional way. And then with the Martin Luther King holiday on Monday, a lot of offices were closed. Our partners in Austin Coming Together, they are very interested in acquiring this building as a community asset for Austin, and they contacted their contact at Fannie Mae, and they confirmed that it was indeed not the right listing. So
how do you think that it popped up on Zillow? Like, was it an automated thing, or is some nefarious actor behind this?
Well, there was a voicemail box at the other end, and when I filled out the online form, I got strange emails, again, not professionally done. So most, we're talking about Frank Lloyd Wright buildings. Most Frank Lloyd Wright buildings are represented by a realtor. And if they are done by seller, we usually know who the seller is. We work with all the Frank Lloyd Wright buildings. There's about 400 remaining buildings across the country, and we work with them. We really, this one just was very odd. There was an apartment on the west side, the Waller apartment, about, 2 years ago that went on the market. I had seen that on Zillow, and but there was a real estate agent attached to it, so I had a conversation with someone who was definitely representing it, and I don't know. Again, the way it was listed and the description, I think it's one of those things when you always learn about how not to be scammed. For emails, I think it's probably the same thing with real estate. You just have to make sure you understand who you're working with, and the telltale signs of things not being spelled correctly, abbreviated strangely. I think it's the same lesson here.
So my question to you is, did you go to the police? And also, if you did, speak to authorities, did they tell you how they could scam you through Zillow? Because I wouldn't even know what their goal would be with this.
No, we didn't go to the police. Basically, our Austin Coming Together spoke with Fannie Mae, and Fannie Mae contacted Zillow. So I think it's just, and the other thing to think about is, why wasn't it on any other listing? Why wasn't it on
Redfin or
Realtor.com, Redfin? Why wasn't it on any other listing?
Well, it's good that, so it's cleared up that this is indeed a fake listing. So now, Barbara, let's talk about the home itself. We're looking at some pictures of it. The bones look, obviously they look amazing, the bones, but this is in pretty rough shape. What is salvageable? Is this salvageable at this point?
Oh yes, we believe it's salvageable, absolutely. And so you asked what makes it special. Well, first of all, Frank Lloyd Wright is widely considered the greatest American architect of the 20th century, and he had a career that spanned more than 70 years. So he created more than 1,000 designs, and he saw more than half of them realized. So today you can find a Frank Lloyd Wright building in nearly 3/4 of all U.S. states. There's one in Canada, 4 in Japan. And people really consider these buildings and spaces to be works of art. And beyond their beauty, Wright's buildings are really an important part of our architectural and cultural history. And it's important to understand that Frank Lloyd Wright's designs, they help shape modern architecture and adapted to those changes of the 20th century. This house on Central Avenue, it was built just 4 years after Austin as a suburb was annexed to Chicago. And it really is one of the finest examples of Wright's early experiments with designs for modest and expensive residences. And then he would later go on to adapt those for other projects. So many people in the Chicago area think about Oak Park, River Forest, maybe the North Shore. Glencoe has a number of them. But really, this was different. This was on a city lot. And so some other examples that you would see of this kind of house style that Wright did would be the Barton House in Buffalo, New York. You can tour that when you go to the Darwin Martin House. There's the DeRhodes House, a privately owned home in South Bend, Indiana. And then there was a demolished home kind of in the Rogers Park neighborhood, the Horner House in Chicago. So as you mentioned earlier, that it's got the hallmarks of Wright's mature prairie style. So you've got those horizontal emphasis, the deep roof eaves, those bands of windows. It's really spacious interior open floor plan. So what's interesting, any buyers need to consider that it is a Chicago landmark. As you said, it became a Chicago landmark in 1984. The interior is listed in that landmark listing as well. So that's something that people need to consider is the design intent of the interior as well as the exterior. They'll be just needing to work with the City of Chicago's Landmarks Division on that.
Interesting. Can you give us a little more history about Frank Lloyd Wright? So this house was built in 1903. So was it people seeking him out to design their home as an architect, or was he just having these visions, he would build these homes and then sell them? I'm not too familiar with how the process went.
Okay, yeah, so a lot of Frank Lloyd Wright's work, so he was born in 1867. I always think about, he was born in 1867. We just ended the Civil War. And then he has this long life. He lives until his 90s. He dies in 1959 at the dawn of the space age. And he really has his career is 70 years. Tell me anyone whose career is that long and prolific. And so he was in Wisconsin, and he came down to Chicago right after the Chicago fire of 1871. And he starts working with Joseph Lyman Silsby, and they do a lot of house designs. He then goes on to work with Adler and Sullivan in their office, and really starts getting into the organic architecture and the design philosophy that Louis Sullivan is inspiring. And so always, because he was from a farming community, nature was very important to him. This organic quality of the Midwest prairie. Really, how do we use the environment around us to design homes? He set up his own home in Oak Park, and that's the Oak Park Home and Studio, which is run by the Frank Lloyd Wright Trust. So you can tour that today. Definitely worth seeing. And then his neighbors really were becoming his clients. And then, you can really see this path in his career. We're just gonna now flip because this guy's on. You can really see this path in his career of networking and getting to know people. People read about him in Ladies' Home Journal and other publications. And so we know the prairie style today, but then he goes up to Wisconsin in the mid-19 teens and starts creating his own fellowship. And as the mid-century progresses, we go into the Usonian period, and you see that in the Midwest, but then you'll start seeing that building throughout the country. So we have 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites that are Frank Lloyd Wright's in the Chicago area. They're all part of what's called the 20th century architecture of Frank Lloyd Wright. Oak Park, which is about a mile west here of this Walser House, and then Roby House, which is down by University of Chicago. And the Frank Lloyd Wright Building Conservancy spearheaded that nomination.
Roby House,
Wow.
so cool to see. Thank you for the history lesson, Barbara.
Yeah.
And I'm glad everyone knows that this is a fake listing. We are hoping for good things and that this home itself finds the right owner, finds the right steward to bring it back to life. Barbara Gordon with the Frank Lloyd Wright Building Conservancy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Fascinating.
Can't wait to Google
Absolutely
after the show. I want to
fascinating.
see more photos. Frank
I know.
Homes.
Yeah, and you know what, that one you'll recognize, like that design. There's actually one a couple blocks away from our own house that is like a bigger version
No
of that
way.
one that the homeowners have restored.
Really?
It's got like a couple different lots. It's really horizontal, like she mentioned,
Yes.
very horizontal, that prairie style.
Lots of wood inside.
I'm guessing
natural.
lots of deep mahogany.
You guys aren't
rich
friends.
mahogany.
You
no,
haven't
no,
been
no.
inside for
Yeah, no,
a
I haven't
brew or
been
two?
inside.
Okay.
No, I want to become friends with them so I can
for
get a little
sure.
tour.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Caitlin.
Okay.
After this break, we get to talk about Heated Rivalry.
Can't wait.
Heated Rivalry.
You're a
This is
hockey
the
fan.
mega hit.
Listen up.
Okay, and it is inspiring. Okay, so the NHL has never had an openly gay player. Okay, will this show change the dynamic? There is a team called Chicago Pride Hockey, the Chicago Pride Hockey League, and they are getting all kinds of inquiries. Hey, I want to play. I want to play. So anyway, we're going to be speaking with them about the impact of this HBO mega hit on the real world when we come back.
Who here is our
Welcome back. The enormous Crocodile musical brings Roald Dahl's story to life with puppets, music, and of course laughs. A fun family show at Chicago's Studebaker Theater. The show runs January 29th through February 1st, so it's a short stint here. But joining us this morning with more about it is the co-director and puppetry designer, Toby Ollier. Good morning to you, Toby.
Morning, good morning. We're running until February the 21st, by the way. I've just checked it myself.
Good. I was like, wait, that's a short run to go from 20. We're missing a 2.
So about
on
a
our
month.
Script. Oh, good. Okay, you got 3
Toby.
weeks.
Goodness, making puppets. I can't even imagine. Okay, first of all, let's get in your background. How did you get into making puppets, puppetry, the artistic, design of these things?
I'd always done it since I was sort of 6 years old, very inspired by watching kind of Sesame Street growing up as a kid and hearing about, Jim Henson when he was young making puppets. And I remember making the entire The Lonely Goat Herd scene from The Sound of Music where they put on the puppet show. I made that entire scene out of like cardboard toilet tubes and bits of string for my very understanding family who are probably subjected to performances every half an hour. And I, had always done it and had very great teachers at school who helped me integrate it into my schoolwork. And then eventually I found a degree in puppetry at London's Central School of Speech and Drama. And so I studied there for 3 years with, puppetry technique, sort of physical theatre technique, bits of making. And then from there was cast in the original production of Warhorse as one of the puppeteers of Joey the Horse. And then, alongside being a performer in that show, started to design and direct puppetry for both other people's productions and directing and designing productions of my own.
Well, Roald Dahl's work and his imagination, I can see where it is such a good fit for this particular medium. You guys are going to be doing this run at the Studebaker Theater. This is a really historic venue. This is a really cool place. It's in the Fine Arts Building. It's right on Michigan Avenue. We're looking at a screenshot of the crocodile itself. Toby, run us through that. I mean, that looks like a work of art right there. Tell us how it is like manipulated and how it works. What can you tell us in terms of behind the scenes stuff about how that thing actually operates? It's amazing.
So this is what we've kind of christened the Crocmobile. And so it's essentially a kind of go-kart, like a freewheeling body of the crocodile. And its tail is kind of long and articulated and sort of misbehaves, does its own thing, like those sort of wooden snakes you kind of get in museum kind of gift shops is where I always think of them from. Right. And so the performer sits on the front of this wheeled cart, and their legs are the crocodile's front legs. So they're propelling themselves around like a kind of kid's scooter. And then the head is on a big universal joint on a kind of steering wheel. And so the performer is able to, open the jaws, twist the head, synchronize their facial expressions and movements with that of the puppet. Because I was really aware when I was approached to design the puppets for this show, I read the first draft of the script and heard the songs, and I thought, I don't want to hide people in costumes. The characters are so brilliantly written, the songs are so affecting, and it felt like tonally it feels very like the Muppets or like the Simpsons. A lot of us in the creative team grew up watching those kind of entertainment programs for kind of all the family, and although the book is aimed at 3-year-olds, it's Roald Dahl's kind of younger years book, we knew in adapting it we wanted to make something that had much kind of broader appeal. And so it felt like showing these adult performers having a really good time playing these animals was going to be a really key way in for the adults in the audience as well as the children.
Okay, so creating these things must take some space, I can imagine. I mean, it's a giant crocodile. So what is that like? Do you have a studio space, and what kind of materials are you using to build these things?
So I have a studio space, but for projects like Enormous Crocodile, it was way too small. We would have been working out in the corridor. So we hired a very long, knowing it was going to be this crocodile, we hired a very long, thin workshop space and kind of rotated the parts of the puppets through them on a sort of conveyor belt kind of line. And we had a team of probably maybe 12 makers in total, probably on the project, on and off from start to finish. And each one is very different and bespoke, has different ways of operating and moving. And it really it was very exciting to realize such kind of iconic illustrations into kind of 3D form, and thinking about how each of the puppets has their own kind of different types of articulation. So the elephant's ears or the elephant's trunk combined with the hippo's kind of very small wiggly ears, and the roly-poly bird has this backpack of feathers like a kind of Victoria's Secrets model, like trying to find kind of different materials and movements that would allow each of these animals to feel really individual. But a lot of them, their kind of base structure is a foam called plasterzote or zote foam, which is often used in sort of packing of kind of precious items. But you can basically pattern cut it and make these really, really big shapes, as you can see with the elephant, the crocodile, these big, big animals, but they're actually a tremendously kind of lightweight to hold, which is great when these performers are, in an hour-long show singing their hearts out. They can't be thinking about holding something heavy. So everything being as lightweight as possible was really key.
So they're lightweight. It's a form of plastic, huh?
Like packing peanuts, kind of, maybe? Oh, I think
Did he froze up? Did he freeze up? Oh, there
like sort of sheet foam, like a really dense. Oh, no.
There you are.
No, you're good. You came back. You came back.
Like a kind of sheet foam, a very kind of dense foam. I'm back. Yeah, like a sheet sort of foam, like kind of yoga mats, really dense foam.
Right.
Like that.
Oh, and it looks like, too, you probably had to work closely with the costume designer, or was that you as well? Because I could see, like, with the bird, it was the head, and then her outfit was kind of the body of the bird.
Yeah, absolutely. We really, there's a big collaboration between myself and the costume designer to ensure that all the kind of just really integrated in the production.
Toby, I feel like I thought I was super familiar with the Roald Dahl catalog. We've read like Danny the Champion of the World, James and the Giant Peach, all the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movies, the BFG, all these ones that Willy Wonka that have been made into movies. I had never heard of the enormous crocodile. What is the premise of this? Because we've got kids. Mine are a little older than Caitlin's, but what's the premise of the show, and what age range would be ideal for this?
So ideally, it's kind of 3 years and up is what we've kind of made it for. The premise of the book itself, there's this enormous crocodile who sets out on kind of human child. He thinks it's the most kind of gourmet kind of food, and so sets off through the jungle on this mission to eat a child, and the other animals of the jungle gather together to try and stop him.
Oh my, yeah, so 3 and up, because the crocodile wants to eat a child. No, but it looks bright and beautiful and definitely engaging for the little kids.
Oh my gosh, that's it really seems fascinating. Oh, and then for folks unfamiliar with the venue, I don't know if you've been to it or if this is a traveling around, but what can you tell us about the venue where this is going to be performed at the Studebaker?
I haven't been here every weekend, so we're show to Chicago. We've been in LA and Minneapolis, and it's been in various venues around the UK, including an open air theater. And so we're all arriving this weekend to put it into the.
I think you're gonna like what you see.
And produce it, but we've been blown away by audience reaction so far.
Toby, bring your warmest jacket, because it's very cold here in Chicago.
I will, thank you.
Sorry about the audio issues,
I know,
everybody.
safe travels.
Yeah, safe travels. And then again, the show runs end of January through the 21st of February. So there's a nice 3-week window.
You've got time. Plan it out.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we are going to take a quick break, and then we are hoping our technical issues are resolved, and when we come back, we can talk about this heated rivalry show. I think I'm at the point, Caitlin, where I've got to check it out.
Absolutely.
Because I've been hearing about it on podcasts, I've been hearing about it in pulp culture, all these kind of different places.
And if you haven't heard about it, we're going to explain why you need to watch it as well.
Exactly. We'll be right back.
I got hurt in an accident.
Caitlin's family and siblings.
Yes, so sweet.
Really cute.
Okay, we're going to talk about Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, well, okay, hold on. We teased the heated rivalry.
Yes.
They are having technical issues as well on their end, so they're going to join us during the 11 o'clock show. I still get to talk about heated rivalry.
You do, I don't.
Well, I will update.
I'll tune in.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's talk about Kim. Kim Kardashian says she's not trying to be North's bestie, North's her daughter, as she addresses criticism about how she lets her daughter, who's 12, dress. So Kim, she addressed this public criticism, which I didn't even know that this was a criticism, but North's self-expression. She spoke about the issue on an episode of Khloe in Wonderland with her sister Khloe Kardashian. Kim has faced scrutiny for allowing North, who again is 12, to wear bold clothing, use fake piercings and tattoos, and get a dermal piercing. She said she avoids being judgmental and tries not to focus on outside criticism. Kim emphasized that outsiders don't understand the pressures her family navigates.
Do you know what a dermal piercing is?
What part of your body? A dermal?
Dermal.
No.
What does that mean?
Do you guys know where the...
Skin piercing.
Yeah, like a cheek piercing. Oh, like a cheek piercing.
So
it
fake piercings and a dermal piercing. Okay.
Okay.
12 years old. Anyway, proceed.
So she pushes back on the idea that she lets North get away with everything. She said North actually has many rules, but self-expression is one area where she gives her freedom.
Okay.
She believes North would express herself creatively regardless of restrictions. Kim explained that North's colorful hair and fake piercings are not new behaviors, and she said that North has embraced bold styles since preschool and first grade. North is true to herself. She said her parenting approach is to support and nurture her daughter's individuality. Okay. What are your thoughts?
Okay, my thoughts. Yeah, I think that that is really important to do, to nurture the creativity. And so the reason we're bringing this up, I'm guessing she's getting flack for this.
And so she spoke out.
So she spoke out. Okay, so she, first of all, this is why, I don't know. When it comes to being a public person and sharing, you know, they've been reality TV stars for so long, this is one of those things that comes with the territory. Your parenting decisions are going to be under the magnifying glass, and you're inviting criticism like this when you decide to be a public family where you put it all out there in reality TV.
Yeah.
All right, so that's first. You know, you can't expect to be in that role and not face criticism like this. Now, I like the response though. I think that you know, when I see fake piercings are not permanent tattoos. Like, I've known families over the years where they get the parents get their daughters, you know, their babies' ears pierced, and I don't have an issue because it's reversible. Like if the kid wants to take them out, that can be done. If it's a fake tattoo, skin heals, right? Holes close. I had an earring back in the day. Can't get anything in there anymore, but
I bet we could.
A little high school,
we
like
try.
hoop.
Yeah, no,
I guess that was in at the time. So I don't have a problem with it, and I do like, you know, our kids are younger, but I do kind of. Here's something this is the only thing I can relate to is, like, I wanted to get a certain haircut when I was 12, and like long bangs were in, you know, where you could kind of flick it and it'll try to look cool, you know, but shaved everywhere else. So I wanted that haircut. And I remember I went to the barber or whatever and had him not cut my bangs. And my dad made me go back and cut it normal. And it was a bad haircut that I got after that. I didn't like it. It was bad for my confidence. Dad, if you're watching, that was not cool at all. And
this is Therapy 101.
Therapy 101. And with Theo, he has that
mullet.
He has that awful. They call it the froof.
The mop. The froof.
The froof. It's that awful kind of Jake Paul, Logan Paul, where they
long on the top.
Every teenager has this thing right now, and it's awful. It's called a low taper fade with a something fringe, a textured fringe.
Okay.
There's a whole name for it.
Yeah.
The reason I know it is because when Theo asked for it, I'm like, okay, I had to pull it up on my thing. And it's that short on the sides, but then you get messy. And the thing is, he's got great hair. It's really straight though, so he can't do he needs curly hair for that to make it look right.
But if he likes
But anyway, exactly. If he likes it, it doesn't bring out his features. It covers his face. Would I rather him have a different haircut? Of course. This is a long way of saying I like letting the creativity breathe. I like it's hair. It's okay if it's what he wants within reason. It's not a permanent tattoo. It's not something that's not reversible. So that's my monologue about this. Where are your emotions?
I line up exactly with you.
Okay.
I think, who cares? You do you, boo. I hate when parents judge other parents for what they're doing. That could get my blood boiling, actually, because we're all doing the best we can.
Yeah.
And I know Kim is a celebrity, but she should just ignore the noise because this is her child, y'all. This is her child, not yours. So mind your business. I'm with you. And we're supporting our kids because, to your point, you remember this as an adult man from when you were 12.
Yeah.
Your dad said, don't get the haircut.
Oh, I was so devastated going to school. And I remember this girl, Jill Hansen, she was so sweet. She told me, she goes, so what? She got a bad haircut.
He remembers the name of the little
girl who reassured me.
If you don't want to give your kids baggage, support them. To your point about letting your kids do what they want, same here. My daughter is not going to wear what I would want her to like to wear. And that's okay. And she can wear whatever she wants. To the point where my oldest, she really likes to dress up in like princess dresses. So she wanted to wear it to school. I asked the teacher, can Birdie wear this head to toe, like sequined red dress, full length dress? Her teacher said it's fine. I said, great.
Go for it.
Let's go.
Here's the other question, though. When Birdie gets old enough to be, you know what I mean, like early preteen, and let's say, hypothetically, that she wanted to wear something that was like super revealing and borderline, you know, so in quotes, inappropriate for school, that kind of thing, then what would be your attitude in a situation like that?
No.
You would put the kibosh on.
Yes, well, because, again, you're not breaking the law in these situations. Like you said, it's not a tattoo. You can't get a tattoo till you're, what, 18?
Yeah.
As far as showing things as a child, and also the school has rules against that too.
They have rules
breaking
too.
the rules doing that. For example, the other day she wanted to wear this sweater that was really cute and it used to fit her well. Now she's really lanky, so her belly was showing, her midriff. And I told my husband, you got to change her. She can't wear that because you can see her belly. So no, I think that's
so there are lines.
Different.
Yeah, there's lines. Yeah.
I guess you're right.
But
there
when it
are lines
in terms of being appropriate, but in terms of self-expression, you're pretty. Oh, it's like, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what about makeup?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Doesn't bother you.
Well, because with our job we have to put on makeup, which your boys might ask, hey Dad, I want some of that powder on my face.
Hey, with Caleb Williams setting the fingernail trend, you know, who knows what's going to happen.
So I've been digging out that makeup bag for a long time, mostly because when they're little, it's a great distraction. Like, hey, look at this makeup. As long as they don't break the stuff, I guess. But no, I've been putting on makeup on my kids for years. If they want it, if they ask for it, sure, it's fancy, you know. Yeah, I just say there's bigger fish to fry. Is that the right saying?
Yeah.
There's bigger issues.
Bigger fish to fry. You nailed it.
What the kids want to do to how they look.
Caitlin, I get to stick around for another hour.
Lucky
Chicago
you.
Now. We're going to turn you loose so you can prepare for the noon. Anything you want to say about the forecast before I switch you out?
Do you want me to give the forecast?
I mean, maybe we have
I'll
like 30 seconds.
I'll give you a little short one. Tonight's going to get very cold. Wind chills 30 to 35 degrees below zero. We've got a wind chill warning. Not a wind chill warning, that's gone now. A cold weather warning. By the way, that's new. New way of saying that it's going to be dangerously cold starting this year from the National Weather Service. Actually, last year it started. But here you go. There's that 70 forecast. So that's going to be from 3 a.m. until noon on Friday, which is tomorrow. So tomorrow, the first half of the day, that's when we have that warning in place. But it's going to stay cold even Friday night. Well below zero for that wind chill, down to about 20 degrees below zero is what it's going to feel like into Saturday morning. So we have dangerously cold temperatures on the way. If you have pets that stay outside, dogs that live outdoors, bring them inside, at least into your garage. Do something because it's too cold for critters outside. And then this weekend, we have the chance for snow returning Saturday afternoon into Sunday. Next week, still going to be cold, Antho. Starting off Monday morning, 1. Yeah, I know, we're in it.
Next weekend is going to be cold too?
Next week, Monday.
Oh, next week. Okay, because Mike said we were going to perhaps warm up. By the way, the ski place responded during the show. We're good to go for the postponing. Theo was signed up for the class on Saturday. No way he's going outside.
Okay, good. They're probably, do you think they'd stay open?
I would think they would rethink that.
Yeah, maybe they'll close.
All right, we got a jam-packed hour at 11 o'clock. We're going to be talking with John Hanson from Blog Club about some of the neighborhood stories and much more when we come back.
Being the weather authority isn't something.
I am with the boys today.
Yes. Yeah.
My goodness. All right, there's the bean, guys. I don't recommend taking a trip there. Maybe the next couple days. Stay inside. Maybe
it's not going anywhere.
Warm cup of coffee, hot chocolate, tea. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It isn't.
Well, the man in the bean must be very. You know how there's a man
really
chilly. It must be cold.
Or unless it's like really insulated in there.
Do you guys want to come to my protest on Saturday?
You're wait.
There's a protest for the man in the bean on Saturday. Let the guy out.
Wasn't that a real thing?
Like in the Truman Show. Yeah. Like remember at the end of the Truman Show, there's a free Truman.
But they actually did have one not too long ago. Do you
like a real. Yeah, I remember that.
They had an actual get the man out of the bean.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thing.
Yeah. That poor guy.
I know.
It's gonna be a cold one.
Anyway, let's talk about what's going on in the show before we get to Jake and the Oscar noms. But John Hanson's going to be joining us from Blog Club Chicago.
Yes.
He's the best, man. He's going to tell us a little bit of some neighborhood news and such. Also, we have Griffin MSI's Black Creativity Program going on right now. And so we're going to hear a little bit more about that. It's one that's been in place for years and years, and it's kind of just new every year. And kicked off on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so it's brand new to the area again. People can go and check that out. Jake, what do we have going on with the Oscars? Because I was reading this morning that they were coming out, and I haven't looked at my phone, anything, so this is going to be a surprise to me.
Well, have you seen many of the films that are kind of a part of the conversation?
Hamnet.
You saw Hamnet?
I've seen Hamnet.
Of everything. Hamnet was the one. Was that your call?
Wicked.
Maggie and me. She's upset. Her favorite movies of all time both have to do with Shakespeare, so I was like, I got to take it.
Well done.
Romeo and Juliet with Leo. That one, and then Shakespeare in Love with Ray finds his brother.
I have a bone to pick with that movie.
Okay, she loves those two, and when Hamnet was I'm like, babe.
You know what Shakespeare in Love beat for Best Picture?
What?
Saving Private Ryan.
Oh.
So that was okay.
Come on. Listen, but it was a pretty historic morning in the world of Oscar nominations.
Yeah, let's hear
For the first time in movie history, a film received 16 Oscar nominations.
What?
Never before has that ever happened. The previous record was 14, held by 3 films, All About Eve, La La Land, and a movie called Titanic.
Oh, okay.
Because it's got to be a mixture of acting nominations, director, you got to get a lot of technical stuff. And I just listen, you guys know I am the advocate here at the station of horror films. I am the guy on my soapbox saying that horror is a valuable genre, that we should take it more seriously, that we should respect it as a film genre, even though everyone looks at me like I'm crazy. But I love that the most nominated film in Oscar history is a vampire movie.
This is Sinners. Okay.
Sinners landed a slew of nominations, including obviously Best Picture, Best Director and Screenplay for Ryan Coogler, a brilliant filmmaker behind movies like Black Panther. Michael B. Jordan landed a Best Actor nomination for not 1 but 2 performances. He played twins in the film. But also a couple of supporting performances got nominated as well, including an actor who I love, who's never been nominated before. He's one of those actors where you go, I've seen him for years. How has he never been nominated? Delroy Lindo received a supporting actor nomination. I don't know if we have video of him. And there he is, the actor in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
You know him from 10,000 different projects.
Things.
Brilliant actor. He has a scene in Sinners, without giving it away, in a car. The car is moving down the road, and he's talking to the other people in the car. And I remember seeing that back in April and thinking, well, there's your Oscar clip. Like, that's
really.
You know, but even, I'm going to be honest, even at that time thinking, well, the Academy will never honor a vampire movie. Like, what are they going to, you know, but it is a brilliant film, and I love that it's getting some love and some recognition. But, you know, normally, whenever I cover the Oscar, guys, I don't love to, like, just list, here are the nominees. I mean, you can go online and see that. What I love is to sort of kind of throw all the chips on the table and see what pictures they're putting together and kind of really, like, what are the headlines coming? Obviously, 16 nominations is a headline, but imagine being a sequel to a film, and the previous film received 10 nominations, and the sequel gets 0. And that is exactly what happened with Wicked.
Oh, my God.
Wicked for Good received 0.
Why do you think that is, Jake?
Listen, it is widely believed that the second act of the musical, which is what this film is based on, is nowhere near as good as the first. Even before it was made into a film, if you went and saw it on Broadway, everyone universally agrees this second act is not. All the bangers are in the first half.
They front-loaded.
Exactly right. So no one really thought that this was. They didn't expect another 10 nominations, right? But I think they at least expected, you know, production design, costume, makeup. Maybe Ariana Grande slips in there for Best Supporting Actress. But to not get anything, not to get anything, basically just says the Academy was over it. I mean, you think about it, the buzz on Wicked for Good, the second film, died down so fast. I mean, we were talking about that first Wicked movie into the new year. I mean, people bought it video on demand on New Year's Eve and were watching it over and over again. No one's talking. And if you're going to go back and watch one of them, let's be honest, you're watching the first one.
That's my same opinion, honestly. I felt the same way. I didn't see number 2, but I knew that the second act wasn't as, like, jam-packed storyline as the first act was. That's interesting.
It's fun. Yeah.
Has there been any reaction yet from like the production with Wicked?
Often give reactions to not getting nominated. You tend to kind of, particularly if you're someone who expected. And now there are a lot of people involved with Wicked that I think did not expect, because there are these precursors, right? There are other award shows leading up to the Oscars that kind of, they're not always 100% accurate, but they give you an idea of the direction things are moving in. And so there were some people that probably with Wicked thought that they were going to get nominated. Costume, makeup. And I think, you know, the last thing you want to do is give a statement about how you feel. You know, you let the people who are nominated have their moment. And a lot of these people won last year. So you got to enjoy that.
Let's just wait, because I feel like there might be some kind of, like, underlying snuff from someone, right? I mean, like,
you gotta be careful, because, you know, you never know. You know, if you're the production designer who gets ticked off and not getting nominated for Wicked, you never know. You might be working with the director who did get nominated.
Oh, that's true.
So, you know, it's all, you got to be careful. It's a relationship kind of business, right?
Totally.
A nomination I did not expect this morning, that I did not think I would be saying, Brad Pitt. Because he didn't really star in a film that I would have thought would have been an Oscar film, but F1, the racing film, which I actually loved. It was on my top 10 film of the year, but I didn't think it was going to be a Best Picture nominee. nominated for Best Picture. In fact, nominated for 4 Oscars. And here's the deal. When a movie is nominated for Best Picture, the nomination goes to the producers on the film. And Brad Pitt is a producer on F1, so he gets the nomination. But it's actually not the first time in his career this has happened.
Interesting.
So
he's nominated as a producer, not for his acting.
I mean, listen, he plays Brad Pitt in the movie.
Yeah, okay.
But he has 2 Oscars, one for his performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yep.
But his first Oscar that he ever won was for producing. He produced 12 Years a Slave, which won Best Picture, so he got the Oscar for that. Michael Douglas, his first Oscar was for producing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So,
which is wild.
It happens. Like these,
wild.
George Clooney got an Oscar for producing Argo. So these things do happen. But here's the thing about F1. The reason I think F1 was able to sneak into the Best Picture lineup is because Wicked very much underperformed, and Avatar underperformed. So they normally like to acknowledge at least a blockbuster in the top 10 lineup, and because Avatar and Wicked fell through, they kind of thought, well, I could probably F1. Really quick before I let you guys go, I have to give a shout out. Timothée Chalamet actually made some pretty wild Oscar history on his own, really. So his film, Marty Supreme, nominated for Best Picture. That is the 8th Best Picture nominee that Timothée Chalamet has been in. That puts him in the category of Gregory Peck, Harrison Ford, Elizabeth Taylor, Daniel Day-Lewis, Meryl Streep. Those are the kind of actors who have been in 8 Best Picture nominees. And now, at the age of 30...
And what, he's 19, right?
He looks like it.
He looks so
He just turned, at the age of 30, he now joins those ranks.
He's been in 8 Best Pictures.
And let's be honest, he's probably about to be in another. Dune 3 comes out later this year. Dune 3 is probably going to be nominated for Best Picture next year, so that's probably going to be 9 for him. I mean, the kid can't miss. And in fact, so he was also nominated for Best Actor, the front runner to win, if I'm being honest, and that makes it his 3rd Best Actor nomination.
Has he won yet?
He's not won. Okay. He is the youngest person to be nominated for 3 Best Actor Oscars since an actor named Marlon Brando.
Dang.
Wow.
So, I mean,
I remember his speech one year. I don't know if he had received an award or a nomination, but
SAG.
he was like, he was basically like, I know it's not cool to say this, but I am like trying to be the best.
Why not?
Like,
why don't you want to be great? Like, he got knocked for that speech a lot when he said.
He's been knocked a lot.
Yeah, but I don't think.
Well, that's what happens when you date a
Kardashian.
A Kardashian.
Yeah.
So you expose yourself to.
Like he's living just fine. But I don't think I don't understand. Like when you're a basketball player, you want to win the championship. Like what's wrong with wanting
just
to
saying
win
it out there? I liked it. I had no problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't have
Before you go, Jake, I know you're itching to get out of here. I don't know if you have a couple more minutes to talk about. You have been talking about One Battle After Another a lot this year. You've also mentioned. The one movie I've seen, Hamnet, also got some nominations, but can you comment real quick on those?
So One Battle After Another, it was my favorite film of the year. It's directed by a guy named Paul Thomas Anderson, who directed movies that I loved, like Boogie Nights and There Will Be Blood and Magnolia. Right now, it's the front runner to win a lot of major awards because it's got so much of winning an Oscar is like a narrative. What is your story that's led you to this point? And I don't know if you remember when The Departed came out like 20 years ago, and the story was it's about time we give Martin Scorsese an Oscar, you know, because he hadn't won up to that point. This is kind of Paul Thomas Anderson's The Departed. He's been a long, well-respected, well-liked director for almost 30 years. A movie that's beloved, that's timely, that did well at the box office. So a lot of people are saying, okay, this is his Departed. This is his chance for us to give him an Oscar. That being said, Sinners is surging because the Oscars take place in March. You kind of have to be hot. It's kind of like
peak at the right time. Yeah.
It's, you know, you can have the best baseball team all season long, but if you go cold in the playoffs, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So you got to be hot right at the right time, and the right time is when people are voting. And Sinners is very hot right now. So here's a stat that concerns me. Listen, if Sinners wins Best Picture, I'm not going to be mad about it. It was number 4 on my top 10 list. Yeah. But the One Battle After Another at the Golden Globes won Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Screenplay. You would think that bodes well, right?
Yeah. It's like the Triple Crown right there.
The last 2 movies that did that were La La Land and The Social Network, both of which went on to lose Best Picture.
Ooh, okay.
So it's a stat that does not bode well for One Battle After Another. I still think it's a good chance to win right now, but you know what? It's end of January right now. The Oscars are March 15th. So we've got
a lot of
some time.
Yeah,
So let's have a different conversation in about 5 weeks, and we'll see how we're feeling.
Jake, not to like put you on the spot, but didn't we talk, was it last year, a couple years ago, where people who do stunts are now eligible to get an Academy Award?
So they haven't introduced that category yet. It was introduced in SAG, and there was some talk about it. There's still talk of introducing a stunt category. It has not happened yet. There is a new category this year, casting. It's the first time they've ever done a cast, because that is an important part of film, you know, making sure the right actor fits the right role. But as of right now, there is no stunt category at the Oscars. There is at SAG, and it brings up that interesting conversation is like, you know, Tom Cruise has been chasing an Oscar for years. What if his first Oscar is stunt?
His first
I don't think he would mind, but no, we're talking about men and women who put their lives on the line for our entertainment. Give them a category.
Literally, I've been meaning to ask you that just in passing, because I remember you know, your great segments that you had with the stunt
there's so many conversations. Yeah, exactly.
So many conversations, and you just see some of the things that they do. I was just watching One Battle After Another. It was a great movie. And
Did
I was
you like it?
Yeah, but even small stuff like that, I was like, man. How are
there's
they
some
doing
stunts.
that?
There's a chase scene at the end that's fantastic that involves some great stunts. And
let me ask you this, Jake, kind of big picture here. How important are these? I know we mentioned Timothée Chalamet, but like for Tom Cruise, for these people that where acting is truly a passion. They're artists. They're not like out for clicks. You know what I mean? How important is this for them? Like, is it like, are they genuinely like, oh my gosh, I need that trophy?
Right? Like Sean Penn is nominated. He's won 2 before. Winning a 3rd is not going to make a difference to him. There are some young actors. Elle Fanning, Chicago's own Chase Infinity, didn't get a nomination this morning. That would have been big for her career. Here's what I always argue is the value of the true value of an Oscar. Because so many people come to me and they go, no one cares about the Oscars. No one cares. Here's what I would tell you is that there are, look, something like Avatar doesn't need help. Something like F1 doesn't need help, right? Something like Wicked, it doesn't need help. It's going to make a bazillion dollars whether it gets nominations or not. But when you're talking about something like maybe Sentimental Value, or you know, it was just an accident, which is an amazing foreign film that was nominated. There are people that are going to look at these nominations and go, I've never heard of that. What is that? And they're going to look it up, and maybe they look it up and then they go, okay, fine, I'll give it a shot. There are going to be movies that are discovered that people had never heard of before that they're going to press play on, or they're going to buy a ticket to because it's nominated for an Oscar. And so that's what I always say is the value of the Oscars. Forget the fact that Timothée Chalamet can maybe put a couple of zeros on his asking price now if he's holding a trophy, or you know, the fact that DiCaprio got his 7th nomination today. Forget about that. It's the small movies that don't have the budget that Avatar does, that don't have the budget that Wicked does, that are finally getting their name out there, getting some recognition. And if it causes 12 people on the planet to go, that's interesting, I've never heard of that, let me press play, and they discover their new favorite filmmaker, or they discover their new favorite actor, that's the value of an Oscar.
Got it. Well stated. Well stated.
Biggest surprise overall. Was it the Wicked?
Wicked getting 0 was pretty big. I really thought Chicago's own Chase Infinity, who plays Leonardo DiCaprio's daughter in One Battle After Another, I really thought she was going to be in the actress race. I was bummed to see that she wasn't, but she has a long career ahead. I mean, I really thought that Sinners would break the record, but I thought it would break the record with 15. To break the record by 2 nominations with 16, that is a record that is going to hold true for years.
You think so?
I mean,
and it was, you said La La Land got 14?
La La Land, Titanic, and a movie called All About Eve.
All About
I mean, because it's got to be the perfect combination of actors, directors, screenplay, and below-the-line technical. To get that many nominations takes a lot.
I need to watch it. I haven't watched it.
Have
you
so
watched
good.
It? No.
And whenever you watch it, I feel like you're going to go, oh, I get it now. It's so good.
I already asked you, and I think you answered it, that it's not too
pop-up.
It's not like too jump scary.
Oh, it's got some jump. I mean, it's a vampire movie. It's
great. I mean, but did you say Silence of the Lambs?
It's the only horror film to ever win Best Picture. And I mean, that was a huge, early '90s, a horror movie to.
Yeah, that one still sticks with you.
I mean, that's still. We just had Jodie Foster on the show. Like, that still resonates with people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Jake. Thank you
guys
so much.
Appreciate
follow along. Jake Hamilton. Award season, Jake Hamilton is a great Jake Hamilton.
It's my Super Bowl.
There's a lot of great Jake Hamiltons,
but
award
passion
season
flowing through.
There are also some not so great Jake Hamiltons too, but this one, award season is my. People ask, what's your favorite season? Award season.
Wedding season, baby.
Yeah, wedding season. Okay. Lock it up.
11:18. We're gonna take a 2-minute break, and we're gonna be back with John Hanson from Block Club Chicago. When we come back.
Probably waiting
great guy.
To shut up.
He's great.
Boom! I got hit by a car.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. As we do every Thursday, one of our favorite days of the week. Also, it's Friday Eve. We have John Hanson join us from Block Club Chicago. Thank you so much.
How's it going, guys? Happy Thursday.
It's good. You know, we're trying to keep warm, for one.
Yeah.
And it isn't even like at the cusp of it. It's just
tomorrow's going to be brutal, sir.
Yeah,
just stay home.
Well, yeah, I think I'm gonna like do one of the, you ever do the cryo chambers things where you step outside or you step in those little things?
I've done it.
I haven't
I've done it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I'm gonna try that tomorrow. We got a free one outside.
A free one. There you go. No need to
3 or 4 minutes.
FREE.
You know.
All right, John, we have a couple things to get through. Headlines. One is a Beverly bookstore that's encouraging kids to start their own library.
Yeah, this is really cool. So Bookies has been in Beverly for a long, long time, 35 years as an independent bookstore. And, you know, what the owner says, Keith Lewis, is one of the most heartbreaking things he ever sees is when he does these book fairs at the schools and the kids come through and they like a book, they fiddle through it, but they don't have the money to buy it, right? And I know a lot of us would just say, oh my God, just give the kid the book, but he's running a bookstore, right? You can't just give away all your books. So what he decided to do, and I think it's really cool, is he set up a nonprofit. It's called For Access and Inclusion in Reading, which has a better acronym of FAIR, which I love.
Cute.
And what he does is he raises money, $25, a stack of books, a moment of dignity, as you see in the sign there. This nonprofit then raises money to then for him to be able to give kids vouchers, and then they can turn that in to at the fair, right?
Oh, nice.
So that they can be able to walk away with a book like everybody else. Like, we should not access or limit access to reading based on funds, but that's just the reality of things. So he's raised a lot of money. He's provided over 200 students these $25 vouchers so far.
John, did you maybe mute yourself?
John, hold on.
Entire school
there we go.
books.
Weird. We lost your audio
lost you
like
for just
10
a second.
So how much money did you raise? Did you
Yeah, you cut out right at that point.
Okay. You got me now?
I got
He's raised enough for 200 students to get $25 vouchers. Wow. And now he's making an effort to raise enough money to give an entire school books in March during their book fair.
How is he doing this? How is he raising all this money?
The QR code, right?
It's nonprofit, right? The QR code, go to the website that he has. It's at blockclubchicago.org. And just a lot of people, and look, we at Block Club have actually done fundraising efforts too, teaming up with local book depositories. People really get the idea and love the idea of giving kids access to reading. And we've seen that with our own fundraising efforts, and he has seen it with his own fundraising efforts. And I think it's brilliant, right? I think if there's like one thing we all can get behind is that kids should be reading as much as possible. We should be inspiring them through children's books or literature as they get a little older. And if there's anything we can do to get more books in their hands and save them the, I don't know, the embarrassment, the tears he's even seen, that he said he's seen from kids that want a book but can't buy it. They don't have the money to do so. I think it's something we can all get behind.
Oh my gosh,
Good job,
absolutely,
Keith.
absolutely. And you would hope everyone would be able to get behind something like this. All right, next up, we understand that award-winning brewery is going to be closing. This is sad here. We have been, John, we've been reporting of late on the whole, like, beer sales being down globally, alcohol sales hitting an all-time low. So tell us about the situation here and what's going to be closing down.
Look, I'm doing my best to keep beer sales as high as they can be, but
keep on trying.
The reality is, yes, through dry January and a lot of efforts, and also younger people these days just aren't drinking as much as they used to. We've been seeing a lot of struggles, and this is alarmist. This is a brewery that's been around for a decade in the Sauganash neighborhood. That's on the northwest side of the city, if you don't know where Sauganash is. And in fact, it's such a tight-knit community that alarmist had to change the rules in the neighborhood to even allow a bar to be open. It was a brewery, but it is the only bar and brewery in the Sauganash neighborhood. And it's a place where a lot of people have come together for many years, but whether it's, you name it, right? Pandemic, inflation costs, labor costs going through the roof, Alarmist just isn't able to do it anymore. Despite their award-winning beer, they won a big award in 2018 for their IPA, and they got to shut down. And it's through tears that they made this announcement.
Oh, no.
And a lot of people are going to Alarmist now for the last couple of weeks to cry their tears into their beer, because it has really become a neighborhood hangout spot.
Oh, that's too
And
bad.
they've really like battled the city's red tape, right? How many stories do we do about local businesses that find a way to navigate the red tape? That one picture was from their beer garden. Yeah, that took like 3 years to be able to open a beer garden, which of course hurt them during the pandemic. We got to figure a way in the city to start streamlining some of this stuff for small businesses. That's a John Hanson aside, by the way.
Yeah, that's okay. You're allowed. We'll allow it.
Yes, but Alarmist, you know, they battled through it. It's just they're facing so many uphill battles, and they're closing, and everyone's bummed out. I wish I had better news here, guys.
Here's the thing. That's just like two little like snapshots of the whole, but it seems like a vibe, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure.
Imagine being
for sure. I wonder,
a little
John,
shade, a little sunshine.
I feel like I've seen so many breweries. This is probably late 2010, early 2010s, maybe into mid 2010s. We lived on the north side, John. We lived in Andersonville, and like there was a period where Beguile Brewing, Revolution. There were like a bunch that popped up. There was what was that? Spiteful opened up right there. They just kept popping up. I'm wondering if there's a beer bubble that burst. And
yeah,
what do you know about this?
I think you're tapping into a craft brewery, not a secret, it's an open secret, like the expansion of all these breweries in Chicago and beyond. They hit a limit, right? Like craft beer sales did grow extremely in the 2010s, as you mentioned, but they still pale in comparison to our big box, you know, our Miller Lights, our Coors Lights, etc. At one point, craft beer, I think, got to about 9% of sales, which was up from like 3%. But there's only so many people that want to go into a brewery, try the beers, talk to the brewmaster about it. I think there is a cap on that. And you're right, especially in certain areas. I forget what we call that, whether it was like Brewers Row in Andersonville, Ravenswood, right? And there was so many of them all up along that industrial corridor where the Brown Line and
right on
the train tracks ran through. Yeah. And I think you're right. I think a lot of that is the correction that we have here, right? How many can we really support in the city? And we're seeing this in other cities too. Denver, Colorado, which is just known for their craft beer scene, has been seeing similar trends. So I don't know. I think you get to a point where you have tapped out the number of people that will go to a craft brewery and spend a day there. And also the fact that less people are drinking overall, and it spells trouble for some of these places. And some of these breweries, not to go off here, this is just a side tangent, some of them have been using THC-infused beer to try and attract more people. And there was a big decision in city council today to allow that to continue. There's the hemp ban I know you guys have talked about and we've covered. but they did make an exception today. This is breaking news here this morning, that THC beers are going to stay in the city, and that's going to help out a lot of breweries.
Gabby, that goes. You've been predicting that.
Yeah, John, I've been saying, you travel on the Kennedy, right, and you see that big advertisement for Senorita, and it says the cheat code for dry January. You know, I think that's where it's shifting, that people are done with alcohol. They're shifting over to, you know, THC-infused drinks, gummies, you know, whatever. Right. Although, you know, I wonder, I haven't, you know, been around a brewery that offers THC drinks. Do they limit how many you can have? Because you can get pretty messed up pretty fast.
I don't know. I mean, you can get messed up on normal beer too, I guess, pretty fast. I played that game before.
Hey, that's very true.
Haven't we all?
No, but I think you're onto something, whether it's the THC infused beer or just non-alcoholic beer. I mean, explosions in sales. I was doing some numbers on the radio the other day, and it's like it is a $25 billion industry in the United States that used to be a $1 billion industry like 10 years ago. So, and the mock cocktails. I mean, you guys have done stories and visited some of these places that are completely dry, right? Yeah. And there's Go Brewing in Naperville, not too far from here where I live, and that's completely alcohol-free. I don't even know if they have THC infused stuff, but people are looking for a different way to socialize and enjoy, and I think all these places are going to have to find ways to adjust, or we're going to have more alarmists out there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, before we let you go, we got one more story to cover here, and this is fewer Chicago school-age kids, you guys are reporting, are enrolled in public schools. This is concerning. What's going on here? Does this have to do with like the census and population, or something else going on here?
No, this is actually, I mean, that plays a role in it, obviously, to get the base number of how many kids are in the city. But CPS has had declining enrollment in general for the past decade, save for 1 year when we had a lot of the migrants coming to the city and they were given an education, and then we saw a bump up in students in schools. What this number isn't the overall number going down, though it is. This is that even when numbers were going down, like total enrolled students, it still was the 75% of kids in Chicago went to CPS or CPS-run charter schools. That was steady. So even though you were losing the population of kids for people moving out of the city, a lot less people having kids in general, you still had like 75% as like a baseline of the number of kids still in the city going to CPS. That number has gone down. It may not seem like a lot. It's gone from 75 down to 70. But it's happened rather quickly. And experts are saying that this is real troublesome for the city because obviously funding dollars are divided and given out to where kids decide to attend schools. And it's about, one, more parents are deciding to homeschool after COVID, and two, going to the private schools. And that's going to be a pinch on CPS, which is already pinching pennies a little bit to make their budget go. So we could do a whole long story on it. We won't dive into all the ramifications of this. But yes, decline in enrollment has been a problem for a decade, but now the market share of kids going to CPS is starting to show that decline too. And that could have big funding and other issues into the coming years.
Yikes.
Interesting. Yeah, we just talked to Chalkbeat yesterday, and just about like what to expect in 2026 when it comes to Chicago schools. It's quite interesting, some of the top stories that they had, or top topics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, Chalkbeat is on it. So we're the nonprofit newsroom, but Chalkbeat's the nonprofit education story, and they kill it. So if you love Block Club, love Chalkbeat, I'm glad you guys talked to them too, because they do incredible work covering no one covers our schools better than Chalkbeat does.
Great
John, it is always good to check in with you about our neighborhood stories. Appreciate your time, sir. And we will check back in soon, I hope.
Yeah, we'll talk next Thursday.
Yeah, next Thursday.
Let's make it a date.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you, sir. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we got some special in-studio guests, Gabby.
We do.
Griffin, MSI. We're gonna talk about their Black Creativity Program, which is back now. This is unbelievable. 56 years of this.
It's crazy.
Doing something right. And it's an annual celebration of Black innovators. It kicked off on MLK Day, which was just a few days ago. So we are gonna welcome them in studio after this short break.
The energy is back.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. Griffin MSI's Black Creativity Program is back for the 56th year. That is nuts. It's great to see, something last so long and create such an impact. And really, it's a celebration of Black innovators and creatives kicked off on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And it's the opening of the longest continuously running juried exposition of Black art in the United States. That's incredible. You see those smiling faces, people just in awe of what's on the walls there. And I am joined by Angela Williams, Director of Design. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
I love going to MSI. I've been there, so many times for segments and such, and it's always so warm and welcoming, and there's always things changing.
Yes, that's what we do.
I don't know how you guys keep up with it, but can you tell us about this Black creativity at Griffin MSI?
Well, you gave me a great introduction. Yes, the longest running continuously works of African American artists from the country. We are celebrating 56 years, which is outstanding.
What goes into this? As a director of design, obviously you want to keep things fresh and new, but also, keep the history, keep the reason people keep on coming back.
Well, actually, my role is really just to create making sure the environment is ready to receive the art. But we have 2 jurors that we work with this year. Every year we have different jurors, so they are volunteers and they help select the work. We get, I think this year we're 1,300 submissions. So they go through and just basically curate the show based on what they're seeing and what they think is outstanding work.
Angela, what kind of, where are these artists coming from? Is it local? Is it national? Is it international?
It is. We have not, as I understand it, hit international yet. But it certainly is all national. And a lot of Chicago artists, because it is, based here. So there are a lot of artists that know about it and submit, but we certainly get artists from all over the United States.
When someone goes there to MSI, first, is it extra price for admission?
No, it's actually included with general admission.
Okay. So how long should people, take time to walk through the exhibit?
Well, if they're coming to see that specifically, I would say, certainly an hour. Right? You want to give yourself enough time. Each piece is so unique. They're paintings and drawings and sculpture, and this year we have a media piece on screen. So there's so much to see, right? And each piece tells a story.
It's all coming back to me because, as a reporter, we're doing something new every day. I came last year and we chatted. I know that I'd met you before, and you can take multiple hours in there and look around. How proud is it to know that local artists, well, national artists too, are able to actually put their art on display? Are there some maybe that this is the first time it's kind of on this scale?
Well, that's what makes the show so really fantastic and unique. It's not only, professional artists that have been in the business for years. It's also for emerging artists. In addition, we also have teen artists as well. So we have 2 galleries on the lower court. So we have main floor. So it's in 2 locations. And you can take a look at some really great work by young artists, teenagers.
And I love that. I see some kids around. I don't know if this was a different kind of program going on at MSI in this picture. Mm-hmm. But it kind of maybe encourages some of our youth to get pen to paper, brush to paper, brush to canvas, and to give their hand at art.
Yeah, it's it's really a great way. There's no right or wrong answer, right? So it's just very personal expression. You pick some paper or pen or whatever your favorite medium is. We're probably seeing those are images from our Black Creativity Night Out, which is
that looks like my kind of party there.
Yeah, it's an evening event. It's really a lot of fun. Tickets sell out like crazy, so check the website. But we offer a lot of programs for kids as well. We have day camps. We had for Black Creativity opening Family Day event. The Rotunda was filled with kids making their own little postcard pieces, so it's really a lot of fun.
Oh my goodness. How many pieces of art did we say that's in that space?
So this year there's over 100 pieces.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a hard job picking, and I love how there's different textures and such too, and that's part of the reason that you can really sit there and look at the different pieces. Is there one piece maybe that struck you this year that you can kind of at least describe to us?
There are so many beautiful works. I think that there's just the breadth and the scope of the talent, and so it's really hard to pick one. I do typically love more painting, but there are some beautiful sculptures. You'll see there's some things that are like textiles and more, tactile, of course, to see, but not to touch. So there's a lot of great work to see. And then, of course, there's the rest of the museum. So
That's true. Yeah, you could take even more time. It's a great place to go when you have family visiting or friends visiting because there's a little bit of something for everyone, it feels like, or you're learning something new. You know, you mentioned kind of some of the kids programming and stuff, and I don't know if you can answer this, Angela, but we've often been hearing STEM or STEAM more often now.
STEAM.
You know, how does it kind of cater to STEAM now?
Right. So, you know, the arts are really important in science. You need the arts to help visualize science and technology when trying to explain something, how cells work, how machines work. So you need artists to help visualize that, and storytelling is a big part of that. So you need artists to do that work. And then also to help think creatively about problem solving, right? You need like creative minds sometimes to work in a team environment, you know, so it's, you know, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
I love it. Yeah, that's true, because sometimes you're, you know, putting your brush somewhere and you have a little mess up, you're having to think out of the box, a way to fix it, or just kind of let it be and learn that way. For people who are interested, where can they find more information, and how long does the exhibit run?
So the exhibit runs through April 19, and you can certainly go to the website griffinmsi.org and get all the information about, you know, any free days that are coming up, weekends, and programming. There's a lot.
Okay, the Black Creativity Program. Thank you so much, Angela, for joining us today. Well, much more information, as she said, on our website, fox32chicago.com. But next, we are talking about Heated Rivalry. It's a popular TV show that's really been taken pop culture by storm, let's say. We're going to talk to some folks with that TV show here coming up after this short break.
I was rear-ended out of nowhere.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. Okay, it's called Heated Rivalry. It's an HBO Max mega hit series about closeted gay pro hockey players, and it sparked new interest in LGBTQ plus hockey communities. I want to get this right. So the NHL has never had an openly gay active player, underscoring the show's cultural impact. I mean, this is being talked about all over the place. People are asking each other, have you seen Heated Rivalry? And it's also being shown with Chicago Pride Hockey. It's an organization that's received about 60 inquiries in 2 weeks, which members have linked to the show's popularity, which is interesting, right? So we have joining us from Chicago Pride Hockey is Gina and Paige. Thank you so much, you two, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
You know, I hope I got it right. I actually only watched the first episode of Heated Rivalry so far.
Seen
so I've only seen one episode.
About it everywhere.
I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch the full season, but like I said, everyone's talking about it. I'm curious, what is your guys' reaction to the show? Have you watched it?
Yeah, we definitely watched it. I watched it during that week between Christmas and New Year's, and it was like, oh, it was very profound and very a little bit torrid, but it was definitely I think it hit home for a lot of us that are playing in the organization.
Got it. Now, talk about how it has impacted your group. I understand that, as Gabby mentioned, inquiries are up.
Yeah. So basically, from when the show aired, within about a 2.5-week span, we've seen about 65 inquiries. And I was like, and it's kind of been across the board, which has been really nice. So it's obviously people that have been a part of the LGBTQ plus community. We've also seen families and parents reach out to us that have kids that maybe are part of that, and figuring out like if there's a way that they can be involved in the community. And it's been people that have never played hockey before, or people that have played hockey, maybe even in high school, and didn't necessarily feel that welcoming environment. And so for them to reach out to us now, they're feeling more comfortable to find that outlet and get back into the sport that they loved so much growing up, but didn't necessarily feel that welcome environment. And so now they want to get back into it.
You know, that's too bad, because everyone should be able to enjoy sports or something that they, you know, have a knack at.
For sure.
For people who aren't familiar, what is Chicago Pride Hockey? What's all that you guys do? Because it sounds like you kind of serve or cater to a lot of ages, a wide span.
Yeah, we are essentially like a beer league hockey team, but we have 5 teams across different levels throughout leagues in Chicago. And as Paige was saying, we are growing like hand over fist. It's nice to have all these all this outreach for an interest. But we started in 2002 by Chuck Jacobson. Initially, we were called Chicago Gay Hockey. We just rebranded over the past year in November. And our mission's simple. It's provide a place for anyone to come play. We don't care if we have allies on our team. As long as you feel that everyone has a right to play hockey and can be their authentic selves, we've got a space for you. So it started out as mostly that, and then we've kind of been launching over the last few years. I should say our predecessor, Andrew Sabatka, was really big into volunteering. And so for us, it's important not only to provide a space for people to play hockey safely, but to make sure that we're giving back to our community. This past year, we've done a Learn to Skate program with the Chicago Blackhawks, where we come to the rink on Tuesdays. So the Boys and Girls Clubs from 2 different schools come learn how to skate, and we are there to kind of help teach, along with Hockey on Your Block and the Blackhawks. We've done other things too, such as like food and clothing drive, especially with the government shutdown. Right around the holidays, we wanted to make sure that we're again, not just playing hockey. It's, we are a 501c3, so our job, we are a nonprofit. We have to find ways to make money, but it's also important that we give back to our community. So people won't want to donate to just you playing hockey. They need to know that you're doing more. And it's important for us to do that. It's not just, it's not just playing hockey. We want to make sure that we're making an impact within Chicago.
Absolutely. So, you described this as kind of starting off as somewhat of a beer league for hockey. So kids, if you got like a teenager, preteen, something like that, who wants to either play hockey or learn to hockey skate, you guys do like workshops, or could there be a league involving younger people in the future down the road? What's the situation there?
I mean, we're definitely not opposed to doing that. Like, we're with the profound uptick in interest in the sport. We're working on developing, like, securing grants that can help us create those spaces and those programs for people. Right now, it's mostly adults, because within our beer leagues, you have to be like over 18 anyways to play. But we are getting a lot of reach, people reaching out about like children wanting to play hockey. We've kind of like said, well, not yet, but when we have community skates, we are inviting those individuals to come, just so they stay connected with us, that when those children are a little bit older, or we've had the time to like put together a program, we would definitely invite them into it.
I love it, guys.
We're not saying no, it's just not right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can only do so much, in the moment, but it's cool that you guys are looking down the line. I just want your guys' input, maybe aside from Chicago Pride Hockey. Is there some things that you've been hearing in the hockey community that this is kind of like triggered, or I shouldn't say triggered would be the right word, but kind of inspired people to do since the show has gotten so popular? Like maybe more people are watching, I don't know.
Definitely, like, I think for us is just, and it's hard, like, for me as a female, like, my biggest struggle when I started playing hockey was like, oh, it's a girl playing hockey. I mean, this was the late 90s, and generally hockey was an affluent sport. And so in those communities, girls are figure skaters, boys are hockey players. I think for our male teammates, they had it a little bit more because that macho mindset has kind of come through locker rooms. I think for us, we've always, as you guys can probably tell, we're tomboys and we can handle our own with amongst other guys. But for the guys, I think guys amongst other guys, they've had it a little bit more where they weren't feeling as accepted.
Yeah. Let's get a little bit about both of your backgrounds as hockey players. I remember, so I went to high school in the late 90s. We had an amazing girl who played for our team. Sarah Koenig, I think was her name. She was in goal for us at New Trier. And I think she went on to like make the Olympic team. She was a total stud. How did you guys get your start playing this sport? Not traditionally a women's sport.
Yeah, so I grew up in Boston, and so I have an older brother, and my dad was essentially trying to get him into hockey. And so as soon as I turned 3, my dad was like, put me on skates and kind of threw me on the ice, not literally, but from there, I was just kind of a natural skater. And so I ended up playing up through college, and I played field hockey and ice hockey in college. And so it was like Gina said, you know, I played with boys basically up until high school. And it was a very different experience than I think what a lot of the guys were dealing with. But it was still, you know, again, kind of coming out, was still an interesting time, especially, you know, playing on all women's teams and trying to navigate that as well. But yeah, so I played hockey for about 20 years before I took a break. And then I didn't honestly pick it back up until I moved to Chicago, and I found Chicago Pride Hockey. And they were just such a warm and welcoming group. And it really just kind of made me want to come back and continue to play. And not only on the ice, but also off the ice as well.
Wow, thank you for sharing that story.
How about you, Gina?
I started in high school in '99. Like, I was interested in basketball. I mean, obviously in the years the Bulls were really good, I was really into basketball.
Yeah.
I moved and I didn't make the basketball team, and that was pretty devastating to me. But we had a pond behind my parents' house and it was winter hockey. You just went outside, and the neighborhood kids and played for 8 hours.
Awesome.
You were outside all day.
That's awesome.
And then in high school, I found an instructional league. So I ended up starting in the instructional league 1 year, and then they asked me to help come back and coach it the following year. And I've been playing like intermediate hockey. I played a brief stint in college, like on a club team. And then like Paige, like I took 10 years off, and boy, once you take some time off, you don't get that back. But so now I'm playing mostly in our intermediate level. And I've been playing now since probably back in 2006, maybe I picked it back up again.
Awesome.
Good for you guys. Hockey?
It's tough.
Tough sport.
Whenever I go skating, you know, I'll throw on some hockey skates and skate around. You use muscles that you haven't used in a while.
Yeah. Could you imagine getting hit against boards, all that kind of stuff? Yeah. You know, and I could honestly assume that this is pretty healthy, people. It's healthy for people. It's a healthy outlet, just like with your mental health as well, right? Have you guys seen any kind of transformations happen with people who are part of Chicago Pride Hockey?
Well, I think a lot of times all of us are all adults, and a lot of people have moved from different like cities, and so it's sometimes hard when you're an adult to make a group of friends. And this has really been like people join, they're like, oh, I have interest in the sport. I moved to a new city. I want to get connected because you know, we love our work friends, but sometimes you don't want to work and then have friendships outside of work. So this kind of is like a little bit more balanced. So as far as like, I don't know, I feel like people have a sense of community. We haven't really talked too much about like, you know, helping people's mental health, but I think just having people that are like you in the same interest as you really just opens up a new pathway. I mean, so many of our teammates are close with one another. Some of them spend holidays together. I mean, we're, you know, with a group of friends here on vacation together. So it's like, you know, just having a community of friends that have the same interest in you is really profoundly affects your mental health just by having a group of people you love and support.
Absolutely, so well stated. And if folks want to reach out, if they hear this, they're interested, they love hockey, they've seen the show, how do they get in touch with you guys and become part of this community, or at least give it a try?
Yeah. So we get a ton of messages through Instagram. The forums that I kind of look at and review, and then we're working again to make sure that we can find avenues for people to not only get equipment, but also to get on the ice. There is a forum on our website that allows them to kind of give us a brief overview of, like, you know, their experience. You know, do they need rides to the games? Do they need equipment? What if they have any skating? And just kind of a little bit about their background and how they found us. And I think that is kind of the best part about receiving all these submission forms, is to kind of get a little bit of this backstory from people and you know, why they're reaching out to us now, or kind of what has pushed them to kind of look into joining hockey. And so basically, if they can find us on Instagram or go to our Chicago Pride Hockey website, I was like, fill out a form and we'll get back to them, you know, within 24 hours.
Awesome. Gina, Paige, thank you so much. And thanks for joining us while you're on vacation. Please tell your other friends to thank you too, because I know that we're
letting
taking
us
you guys
borrow
away
you guys for a few minutes. Have fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you guys.
All right.
It's interesting. You gotta watch the series.
I know.
You gotta watch the series.
So you watched episode 1.
Episode 1. I haven't had a chance to sit down, relax, and just binge the rest of it, but I will. Anthony, I dropped the ball. I'm not gonna lie.
Happened?
This is gonna be kind of chaotic, but any chance you guys can punch up the let's do the bean. Can we look at the bean for a second? Because I have to bring something up, and I don't want to, you know, walk off stage, do my little model walk, and all the picture be crazy and stuff. And I also have to find it in my giant bag. But I have something for us to try.
Look at this bag you have.
Oh, this is actually one of my best purchases of the year.
Dang.
Actually, it was a Christmas present. We can bring it back. This is my Hulk in my bag that I bring because, yes, I have a lot of winter stuff. You never know where as a reporter, where your life is going to take you.
Gabby's bag of fun.
That's my extra shoes. Here it is.
What do we have?
Progresso soup drops.
Oh my
These are
gosh,
those little
I heard
sours.
about this. Is this?
And so I thought, what better time than on Chicago Now at the end of the 11 o'clock hour
Will you tell folks
to try these?
And me, enlighten me, what exactly these are?
You know what? I have very minimal information, but it's from Progresso. I think they've done this for a couple years in a row now, but it's soup drops. So like they're like little sour drops from what I understand. What color do you have there?
I've got a,
you have the
looks
chicken
like
noodle.
a chicken broth color.
And I think I have the beef pot roast.
Okay, so this is a trending thing. We're gonna try soup drops here. They look like throat lozenges.
This is gonna be absolutely horrible. What a way to end a Thursday, huh? Oh, wait a second.
It's not bad.
Mine's tomato bisque. I read it wrong. This is actually really good.
Reminds me of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It tastes like schnozberry.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna blow up. Flavor
like
based on delicious Progresso soups. Okay, warm and cozy. I don't know about that. No spoon or heat required. There you go, people. We tried it. Yeah, might as well.
I don't mind it. Okay, they have 3 flavors in here: beef pot roast, chicken noodle,
and tomato bisque. All right, everyone. There's the Thanks for joining us this Thursday. We'll see you on Friday.
Warming my soul.
I'm gonna spit it out.
Thanks, Gab.
I'm in turn.